Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's okay and is surviving and preserving capital during this time frame in the markets where we've had tremors in the markets. Mike, great to be with you. Your words keep echoing in my head all last week. People were coming in the chat room saying, Mike, what do you think about buying this? What do you think about buying that? And quote unquote, Michael, Venezia, don't be a hero. I heard that all last week. So uh, uh, you in fact, the week or two before, you said I don't like the way Amazon looked. So congratulations on not being sucked into buying the dips last week for position or swing trades, because I think people are going to have to learn to sell the rips now, not just buy the dips. And it's really a paradigm that a lot of people have. So I don't think that it's over. I think we could bounce. Where's your head at, bro?
I don't think it's a new paradigm. I think the retail trader is who I wanted to capitulate is unfamiliar with these type of moves. I mean,
Right.
it hasn't happened before the pandemic. I mean, there was a correction before the pandemic, and then everybody wanted to trade afterwards. So I don't think
Great point.
it is a great point, and I'll answer your question. I learned a lot too, and the reason I'm not going to pontificate. We owe it to one of the active members to get down to make money. So this is not one of those calls. But certainly this wasn't a time, it certainly wasn't a time to get brave. And I learned a lot too. And the reason why I'm in this business is not that I'm not going to change my tax bracket within a week or a month, thank God. But it's that I might miss something, or I might miss something that will make me be a better trader, no matter how small it is. And that's why I keep doing it. I'm being straight up. That's really why. You know what I mean? I know how to keep like if I'm a golfer, I know how to keep my left arm straight, my head down, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I already had to do the warm-ups when the layup warm-ups with LeBron James or hitting 900 wedges before I go out and play golf. So
And
I'm
for a
getting
trader, it's about controlling risk. It's really the only thing we could control. We
well, I
can't
think
control.
well, this
Well,
is this
go
this is
ahead.
what type of market it is right now. Okay. You can't just, some people think you can walk into a pool hall and win a couple of, play a couple of games and get lucky with your friends. But as we know, within chess or even with pool, the real sharp guys are already 3 or 4 advances ahead, thinking or knowing that they're going to execute previously. So this week, coming into this week, you had to have a plan, not to be redundant, not that I'm apologizing, more than ever. You have Microsoft coming out tonight. You already had a lot and more, by the way. Good to TGH. We always put up the list usually on Monday, and we put it up today as whether more earnings come out. The Fed's coming out tomorrow. So as I said before, in the long-term trade view account, I'm not putting new money to work because I don't think I'm going to miss anything. I do there think is overhead supply. I'm obviously aware of the price action over my opinion, as a lot of people are getting taught that, to go over price action and opinion again is evidenced by stocks still off 50% off their highs. I'm talking about big winners, Square, PayPal, blah, blah, blah. So I had a plan coming into the week. As I said before, when the VIX got higher, I knew things were going to get more painful or more going your way more, if you will. I don't know if I put
If you
that
were
into,
short.
yeah. So you know what I mean? The notebook is filled more than ever. I know the thing that I did more than ever than the last couple of days is I muted out the noise. I had a plan because in this type of volatile markets, you can't follow anybody. You can follow a guy in 5 minutes and the VIX is up 30%. He could be out 5 minutes later and he said, "What happened?" And he could say you reversed. So that's why I'm saying that execution and having a plan is more important, because if you're going to learn, we're going to give you the tips, but you're going to have to do it on your own. You can't shadow trade anybody, especially when the VIX gets up to 30 or 35. So having a plan and doing it on your own and knowing why is really the point of the execution. I can pontificate all day long and give you buy points. And I'm not alone. I'm not splitting the atom on a couple of things here. It's just that's where we're here for, and that's where we're going. That's what
Yeah, I think, one of the only markets that really showed a bid was gold yesterday. Silver was weaker, but almost everything was weaker. It was, and Bitcoin, got near that 32,000 level I've been talking about. So, there are some trades setting up here for bounces, but I think these bounces are going to be counter trend. bounces, Mike. I think that people are hoping the Fed tomorrow lays off, their aggressive talk, and I don't think they will. I think that they're on a mission, and people keep waiting for the Fed put, and I don't think there is a Fed put right now.
Uh, I understand that. I will, like I said, that I agree, but I'm going to leave that to the professionals because I'm not sure if this could be a priced in situation. I'm not sure yet, which again is why I'm not putting new money to work. Because if the rotation change and the shifts change, I'm not going to miss anything, especially with capital. So, you know what I mean? The VIX is where it is. You know, if in the active account, it seems like if in the active account, it's just I try to take less overnights and I'm just taking money off the table and playing moves. That's what I'm a professional at. The
Okay.
long-term account, I'm going to wait till after. I'm not going to be a hero because as we're going right here, and I agree with you with the overhead supply. You know, we're selling, 60.
There are a lot of broken stocks, Mike,
Well, we're
like
selling
Ford. I mean, Ford last week was kind of a harbinger. It in one day broke a 5-month uptrend. In one day, the whole trend changed when Ford broke down. Look at that. So
Well, I'll even say
uh,
this. This gets back, 2 years of gains in 2 months.
yeah,
You're talking about TTD, which is what I consider a best of, you know what I mean? It's just, that was one of our best trades yesterday. And Tim will edify. That was the first one to go positive. And I took money off the table and I took money off a winner because I needed to take a profit. Still aggravated about that, but I had to. There are different circumstances. I digress.
it was difficult to buy, a 200 handle break in the S&Ps and buy anything, Mike. Any kind of, and I know that there are some people who took advantage and did nice day trade, and
I
it's
did.
not the bottom.
No, no, no. Like I said before, I had I'll get into specifics. Are we on here? To
Yeah,
anybody that on the charts? You know what? Let me finish. Let me finish the routine because I would be doing an injustice getting into
yeah,
charts. So let me just finish, okay? So
yeah.
coming into, I want to make one point, and I guess I am pontificating, but next is that when extremes are like this, including the VIX being this high, I'm a trader of indicators. It's one of the tools that I use. It's one of my main tools. When I sit down to eat a meal, is a fork, a spoon, a knife, hopefully a napkin. An indicator is one of the sentiment is one of the indicators I use. But when the VIX gets elevated, or when there's some sort of fear, the VIX could be elevated. It could be arbitrary if you want. But 30-35 is elevated, in my opinion. You have to understand that the RSIs are going to get they're going to overshoot on both areas. So when I post an RSI, like this is a normal one that I like to post, pardon me, which is the market sentiment. And the bottom line is this, we can go over it or give 1,000 Jim Cramer quotes, but this is pre-pandemic. I'll even give a Jim a Jim Cramer quote yesterday, and everybody was saying Omicron levels, or even COVID levels. So that's what type of fear was packing. It wasn't the fix, wasn't necessarily that high. But getting back to what I was saying with my market indicator, very, very, very rarely, and this goes back, by the way, with the dates, a year and a half, is the market that oversold, and it goes to pre-pandemic levels or
Yeah.
pandemic levels. So, that's a giddy up. And this is also fear and greed, which indicates that they're going to sell the rallies. There's that much not fear. There's short-term fear, but I'm not fearful about the Fed coming on Wednesday. I have capital to put to work. The active account, I understand. You got to stick and move, and that's what we're here to do as an active account. We have a parameters, but long-term wise, I don't think there's any much fear, and there's still rotation to do. I understand Ford made that move, but then again, let me go to a Ford chart. I mean, if you want to nitpick or stretch it out, let's go to a weekly. I mean, that's okay still. I mean, you know what I mean? You're in it from the beginning of the beginning of what?
21.
Last year at
Yeah.
9, you're huge. You doubled. I mean,
Yeah.
who's better than you?
Still.
And it's Ford. So what I'm saying is, and by the way, recent price action, I don't want to step on your toes. I happen to agree. There is overhead supply, and I'm not a buyer of Ford. But let me get it back into what I'm finishing here before I can get into
What group or issues stood out to you yesterday that you have a kind of a plan, I may say bias, a plan that if the market's weak, they're your candidates to trade the long side. And are there any groups or stocks or sectors that if they rallied, you'd be raising cash or short selling?
Yeah, I would. And you know what? This is the bottom line, coach, and you know this. The indices aren't reflecting the individual stocks, correct?
Yeah, they were the
Okay.
last to
So
go.
it's individual. I'll give it another example. I mean, certain things I believe in, and the majority of them are biotechs. The stocks that I'm down in the fund are biotechs, all of them except Overstock. But a stock like Hood, which insiders were buying, and I noted, I mean, steadily, and they were. I mean, numbers don't lie. At 16 and 17, I think I sold like 40,000 shares at the spike up 1645.
Yeah.
Where was it? Right here. And the stock went to 11. So that's what is that? 16 points on 40,000 shares, 6 points of, so I was going to be stuck with, by the way, I would never get that way, but certainly that somebody still long it was, that it's long Hood. If it pops 10%, I don't care if they make widgets, something in your account pops 10%, you're going to take off some 10% moves, right?
Yes.
And that's what's
always.
happening, overhead supply. And I think that's
Yeah.
why there's a lot of overhead supply. And I
Yeah.
think they're selling the rallies. I guess the conversation came full circle, correct?
Yeah, I mean, people are used to, it was like clockwork. 5% pullback by the dip, new all-time highs. 5% pullback by the dip, new all-time highs. To me, I think it's going to take people a lot of time to learn that buying dips won't work if we're entering, going to have a sizable correction. It is possible that we could pull back to 3,300 in the S&Ps before there's a major low.
Well,
So, I mean, there's, I know guys looking lower. I'm not going to, do any bear porn on our broadcast, but I think that people are not, it's not just the retail traders from the pandemic, Mike. We really haven't had anything serious since the 2008 sell-off. So you have a whole generation of traders that have never seen a bear market. It's not just the people who came in to buy GameStop. So I think that people have to, like W.D. Gann says, it's my favorite saying, Mike. If you don't learn how to change your mind, you won't have any change left.
No, I listen. I could throw out 1,000 cliches from being a broker to knowing as being a trader. Believe me, but I want to get back to what we act. And I agree, Coach. I want to get back to what the plan today is. This, and let me share the screen. And levels and something to believe in are more important than ever.
You like Mike Santoli?
I do like Mike Santoli. I think he's articulate.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it's not a what do they call it thing? An ethnic thing at all.
Okay. So
but
just a regular old bromance. Man.
Well, bottom line, he's on CNBC. He's on when the market is down 1,000 points and it's 4:01 at PM, and they put him on CNBC more than anybody. That says a lot right there.
Yeah.
That's bottom line.
Yeah.
So let me get back into the plan today with levels. I said the plan
4230 was a big S&P number for you.
At the big test, 4320,
yeah,
and 4280. So the low today on the ES was 4278. So which is 4280. It held.
Yeah.
And I started nibbling, and I took some longs off. Hopefully, when we just go. So let me go to I'm just trying to be tactical and active. That's all. So this is, let me clear everything. This is today's charts.
A natural thing, Mike, that a lot of like market technicians would look for after a break like this would be some type of 50% retrace, 61% retrace. So if you do it in round numbers on the S&Ps, call it 48 and 42, that's 600 handles. Halfway back is 45, and that's where really the market broke its uptrend, and that's going to be a tough area to get through in the S&Ps.
And by the way, let me just, Jim Cramer, by the way, he's voice of reason. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, he's not the judge and the jury. And by the way, I don't have the TV
Who is
now. What's that?
Who is
Jim Cramer?
No, who is the judge and jury?
Well, no, I don't. Well, some people may make the difference.
Look
Bottom
at that.
line is what
I
he
like
said
that macro picture right there that you're showing. Yeah,
a big down opening that tests near the lows of yesterday. That was what you just said, right, Coach?
Yeah.
But bad would be a flat opening, and definitely an up opening Well, everybody would be selling. I was going to be selling. I was selling. So let me go back to yesterday. What would also he said, and also Santoli. That was a key. Tech shares going down when yields going lower. I
Yeah,
do not think that everything should go on Ukraine. But hold on a second. We are as oversold as we discussed Omicron. So you had to take a stab. Granted, you had to find an edge and find levels. You just could keep buying blindly. But, when we post, fear and indicator reads that way. And the S&P index, by the way, was, that we're going back a year and, a year now. That was fear. And that's where the retail trader seemed to capitulate. The pros stepped in. And by the way, they made tactical moves. There's still overhead supply right now. And let me finish the whole dissertation, if I will. The VIX is where, and by the way, I started buying the market because I when the VIX was 30, as we discussed many times this week. Oh, look at that now. Hold on.
Mike, I think that the skills that you have, and I know some other people, I've interviewed well over 1,000 traders. The skills that they have as far as being able to trade are more important in a market like this than ever, because it may not be as much of an investor market for a while as it has been until the Fed plays out their hand. And that could take, 3 to 6 months, right?
No,
So you have to know how to trade.
No, I understand that. The people are here to learn, just tuning in, and they want to learn, what my portfolio is right now. I'll tell you, but it's probably not going to change. It's going to be probably shifted, if you will, but depending upon what happens Wednesday. But I've said this a million times. And for anybody that's out there, go look at all the videos to the right here. They're all posted. Go back. I go back and learn. Everybody else should too. And you might pick up on some acumens I'm better at than not. But I want the VIX to be at 40. It's like a poker player. It's like a professional poker player seeing a couple of college kids come in drunk at a poker table.
Yeah.
So that's what I want. And that's where sold. Oh, I just sold something nicely. That's a good sale. Look at this sale. SDGR just sold a chunk of. Can we see the screen?
We don't have that chart up. There you go.
All right.
Nice.
So the bottom line
right there.
Well, let me show you what I'm doing. And it's a long-term hold, and I'm selling it here. I mean, I started buying it, at 26.90.
Yeah.
It was a low today at 26.40. I just sold 8,000 shares at, it's $1.50 move on me.
That's what I mean about not being stubborn.
No,
okay. A lot of people say, well, you know what? I want to see it make a new high. Why are you getting out here?
I will tell you one of the things that I've learned the most, Lewis. I hope you're on this one. One of the worst losses I've seen being taken from me and others across the board, please hear me, is when people try to get even on a stock and they're almost there and the ego gets aside and it just doesn't. You know what? Here's where I sold it. I sold 40,000 DNA today. 40,000 right here at 550. Hold on. Let me do it 2 minutes today. Let me do a 15-second chart. 40,000 at 506.
Nice.
Stock's 468. And by the way, when I was on the video 2 days, it was 567. I could have taken it off of here. So you know what? I had a chance. I did sell a chance a lot, if Rich will remember, like 550. So instead of me holding 40,000, holding my ego get aside and going from 560 to 430, that's an $80,000 move. It doesn't even matter about the money to a degree. It's the plan and the percentage. So I sold it here and I moved on. So next, we're here to actively trade. Where's the VIX? So I started shorting the VIX, as you know, around 30 was my number. And I knew when it got to 34 the other day, when it got above 30, it was 34. I wanted to short again, to buy the more of the market at 35. But I knew the last move from 34 to 35 was going to be a painful one because fear was still setting in. So once it did this, I'll go to where I was yesterday. I'm sorry when the market didn't make it that new high yesterday, right here is where I started buying around 12 o'clock. Let's look at the market yesterday around 12 o'clock. I don't know if that was the time to turn around, but that's when I started buying. 12, I don't know what this is, but 12 o'clock was yesterday's low.
Yeah.
419. So you know what? Certain indicators are more prevalent at certain times. Certainly when fear is setting in, the big guys are telling you about Omicron, and I'm even saying it, the bond took a little bit of a back seat. Oil kind of took a little bit of a back seat. You know what I mean? It was
oil kind of held up pretty well
it did hold up
comparatively.
by the well, and that's why the oil
Yeah.
stocks went up today.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to get back to ConocoPhillips, another thing, which, but look at that. That should have been bought too. My mistake. 81 to 84 on Conoco today. What a move. What a move. So ConocoPhillips, I was short this. Remember when Goldman came out and came out with a sell, and ConocoPhillips went down $1. The same thing when Goldman, remember I told you Goldman upgraded Conoco?
Yes.
And that right here. And that was their chance for their clients
Yep.
to get out right there. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's a price action. I mean, it's a big cap stock. It's not like one of these other ones I'm paying attention to. So the bottom line is, I don't know if I'm going in tangents, but let's get back to what's going on now. Because to any of the newer people who are listening, we got to help them make money. Anybody can go and look back at the lessons. Questions or what? Lewis?
Sometimes, Mike, it's okay to do nothing until the dust settles. What do you think of that? I know you're not like that.
No, well, Coach, the VIX is at 35. I'm here to trade. I made
Yep.
nice money today, but I didn't do
Yep.
it. I didn't put a share to work in the long-term account. I mean, there are stocks that are still their fundamentals. Square fundamentals are not reflecting what's going on. Am I showing the chart with the
Yes.
fundamentals right now? I don't think the fundamentals are right now are reflecting what's going on with Nvidia for a stock that get cut in half. I don't think the fundamentals are showing what my SDGR is. Oh, hold on, Nutella, which by the way I think is holding up greatly compared to the XBI. This is a best of breed. This is not reflecting its fundamentals. So I'm
So
just
you have a whole shopping list of things that you believe are mispriced on this sell-off, and you're just waiting for some technical action, or maybe see something from your curated Twitter feed by Jesus or options guy, or are you looking for that?
By the way, Jesus has been on the money all day. Disaster.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me just give you a couple of things right here. Let me go to media and I'll go to this. S&P possible downside 9 or into FOMC tomorrow. And that was 2 minutes ago. So he's saying that every time the market pulls a 9, which is that something's going on with the market right now. So he's telling you this is a chance to either cover your shorts, exhaustion signals all over the yard.
Okay.
So I should be
He's
buying
looking
right
for
now.
a rally. He's looking for a rally.
Let's go back and see if the 4280 is holding.
It is.
Hold on. So what I should be doing right now is buying.
Yeah.
When there are exhaustion figures and the market is well off the lows, I'm a buyer.
Yeah, you could get an equal move if you go back to that last chart.
Yeah.
The first rally, yeah. And then from the recent low. We should have, and sometimes you could have more on a C wave. You could have 1.618. Maybe we're going back to 67.5, that moving averager.
No, but you know what? I'm tactical. It doesn't mean, okay, bells and alarms aren't going off saying this is the time, hold on a second, saying this is the time that I'm going to finally, this is it for PayPal, which I want to buy eventually, but it's still down. Look at this poor thing.
Really ugly.
You know what I mean? And this is, so Josh Brown, everybody, you don't hear these guys, the Nigerian brothers, they're pitching this thing at 230 off at 10%.
Yeah.
It was down, it was a 20% pullback. So it was down, what, $30 at 300. 30%, they're saying, oh my God, a 30% pullback, 20% pullback, Square hold, PayPal hold. The stock's cutting it, it's down half from there. Yeah. Thank God my ego didn't get in the way. I got a couple of things I got to work out of. And by the way, there are a couple of biotechs where I'm not putting my ego aside. I have to see how they're going to do into either a rally or a sell-off. So, where's AMD? That's, I'm going to look how see best of breed is going. That's holding the 200-day. I wouldn't talk of anybody of holding, taking a stab there. Kohl's helped Kohl's was a buyout and helped the sector yesterday. They rallied. So Macy's was a nice rally yesterday afternoon. You know what? No. You could have bought the down open, made a nice down open. Macy's 26.50 to 28. That's a huge move. It's $1.50 in a stock that trades 40 million.
Yeah. So you're definitely confirming my point. It's a trading environment, and you need some tools to trade. It's not really an investing climate. Maybe once we have the end of this, it will become an investing environment, but for now, you need trading skills.
You do need trading
Mike
skills.
Mike is showing that doesn't matter bull or bear market, every day he has a plan to take advantage of this volatility.
I would,
And
yeah, let me say something, a stock, you know what, when on the one, my other ones, overstock, let me give an example. And I like it, and I like it for a reason. Needham, I consider the best on the breed. You can argue, coach. I'm open to discussion. Besides Goldman, they're the best. They cut their price target to 100 from 150. The stock's 42.
yeah,
It's
a little
still
late. Yeah.
cut in half from their lowest price target. And it's not so maybe price action be prevalent. Like I said, I'm going to understand and play what's going on here, but this is really what matters right here today. What has look at the stocks that had range yesterday. Snow had just major range with that's volume. It's all 2, 3, 4, 10, 5% volume. Stocks.
I wonder how much. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I wonder how much longer they're going to be running those QQQ commercials I've been talking about for months.
Well, listen,
I'd look for them to pull it, and then I'm going to be very aggressively bullish when they decide not to advertise it anymore.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's your way of gauging the retail trader. No offense, no, I'm not saying you. My way of showing the retail traders is a couple of indicators. Like I said, I'm not going to be watching CNBC for 24 hours, hoping that the commercial comes on, and that's it. I have more real time indicators. I don't really have to work that hard for, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So it's really a great environment for a trader. And what's the name of our community? TradeGATEHub. Come in here and share your trading ideas, ask questions, share your work, become accountable, and learn to be a trader.
Well, listen. Our style is not the only style. Like we'll consider this med school, if you will. No disrespect to any doctors out there. You want to become on and trade a futures trader. Maybe you want to be a podiatrist. You want to just actively day trade. Maybe you want to become a brain surgeon. You want to swing trade. Maybe you want to be a general practitioner. We're just giving you major tools that after 26 years and you in 30 and Tim, for example, we got 100 years between us at a very high level. So we're not splitting the atom here. Go to the Twitter feed. These are people that are followed by 100,000 people. So go to Adam Mancy, one of my guys. Oh, actually, you know what? He's a guy that's followed me. He's an imposter. Go to go to Dale. 40,000, 50,000 people. Go to Adam Mancini, one of the best futures traders in the country. 120,000. So these are Christian. These guys are all pros. So my job to TGH is for you to our job is to forget all this noise and get it and condense it all into here. And that's where we're going to ultimately build the plan. That's all.
You were talking about doctors, Mike. You know the difference between God and doctors? God doesn't think he's a doctor.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. They were, by the way, when I had one of those black D&B cards when I was a stockbroker, I love when it said doctor in front of me, and they were easy to open accounts on. I'll tell you that.
I remember. Yeah. Always be closing. Ugh. So, speaking of closing, we've been talking about the markets here, Mike, and hey, I want to congratulate you, first of all, for warning people last week. If they heeded it and did not try and be a hero, anything they wanted to buy last week, they sure got on sale this week. So great guidance. You're an excellent mentor, and I think people should take advantage of it.
I appreciate that,
come
Coach.
in here. I mean, I've learned a lot from you in a year. Look forward to learning more.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. Vice versa.
Keep hitting it. Keep swinging the bat, buddy.
Swedish. Well, this is important. Let's see how Europe is closing. I want to get back to, appreciate that, Coach. Europe is closing. Jesus, by the way, there's a Jesus normal feed. And this is the normal feed. So European stocks look for rebound. So that's important where we do that. Held ground, that holds water.
Yeah. All right. EEM was weak yesterday, but you know what held up? And you were looking at it a few months ago was the Brazilian ETF. Brazil really is holding up in the in this type of
Davi
environment.
Malone gave me the EDWZ, if you remember.
Yeah,
Davi
you know,
Malone.
Brazil looks okay.
He gave it to me at 32. It went to 26, but he was in the right
But
church, wrong
it's
pew. He also
turning.
gave me Melly. I think that actually bounced too. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So
He
when
gave
we
me Melly
finally
at
get a high
6,000.
in the dollar, these things are going to be on my radar. They already
No,
are
no,
on
no.
my
You know,
radar.
no, you know what? He was like he said, he was right, wrong church, wrong pew, right church, wrong pew. They're on my list. I like it too. I
Yeah.
can see why. I wouldn't talk you out of the trade.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, everybody.
So
Cheers. We'll see
yeah,
you.
good hunting, Mike.
I
Thanks for your
appreciate that.
time on a real busy day.
Have a good day,
Appreciate it,
everyone.
bro.
Have a plan.
All right. Adios.